Today's video I'm going to show you 7 ways to soundproof a wall. Now there are many ways to soundproof a wall, but these soundproof wall systems I'm going to show you in this video I've used in my own home, and I've installed them to thousands of properties across England. Any of you that know England, there are millions of semi-detached and terrace properties, and that's millions of people with a separating party wall suffering from unwanted noise in their homes. These soundproof wall systems that I'm going to show you in today's video I've used in real life soundproofing installations in real life homes. And as we go through this video, you as a capable DIYer can then choose which is the right soundproof wall system for your amount of space available, your budget, your skill level, and the amount of noise reduction you want to achieve based on your noise problem. Now I'm just going to give you my honest opinion of what we've found having installed sound insulation to residential homes in the UK for over a decade now. But just remember, we do offer soundproofing education on all of these systems that I outline in this video. So whether you're a builder, DIYer, or just looking to reduce the noise in your own home, there is online education courses on exactly how to install all of these systems, and the link is in the description down below. Okay, let's get stuck into 7 ways to soundproof a wall. The first system I want to share with you is the 30mm panel system. These are ready-made panels. They're 3 centimeters thick, they're easy to install, and the most common ones have a 10 kg per meter squared mass loaded vinyl, followed by a foam, followed by another mass loaded vinyl, and then a 15mm dense acoustic plasterboard. Now these are easily delivered to your door, with most soundproofing material suppliers offering next day delivery on these. But how do they really perform? In a laboratory, fantastic, but in a real life home, you've got to use them in the right way. We find if you don't use them in the right way, they will channel the noise from the neighbours into those hollow voids. So that means if you put them to that direct noise path of the separating party wall directly on that plaster, they will channel the noise into that hollow ceiling void, into that hollow floor void, maybe into that hollow chimney stack, or into those other flanking walls. So you've got to use them in the right way. Now they are promoted to be fixed directly to the wall, and from my experience we find that most of these panels have a 10 kg mass loaded vinyl on the back, and this is what channels the noise into those hollow ceiling voids, into those hollow floor voids, and when applied directly to the alcoves, for example, they seem to channel the noise into that hollow chimney stack. It's just what we found. Now these particular panels can barrier high frequency. If your neighbour is directly the other side of the wall, like here, the TV is immediately the other side of the wall and your TV is here, and you want to barrier that noise, then great, they might give you a 30 to 40% reduction in that higher frequency noise. But neighbour noise doesn't work like that. Your neighbour could be coming and going out of the front door. They are upstairs moving around, moving furniture around. They're clonking and clanging diagonally behind you in that kitchen, diagonally the other side of the separating party wall. So if you're sat here in your chair, I'm not sure what sort of reduction in noise you're going to get from these panels installed directly to the wall. Now there are 30mm panel systems that have anti-vibrational matting to the back. There is more of a viscoelastic membrane installed, then a foam, and then another anti-vibrational padding, and then a 15mm sound block board. They don't use the mass loaded vinyl, and we find that these panels actually do what they say on the packet. They do offer a 30 to 40% human perceived reduction in noise on those higher frequencies. So I would recommend going for these panels with the anti-vibrational matting instead of the mass loaded vinyl version, and installing these panels where you absolutely cannot afford any more space than 30mm. If you're not comfortable in extending door linings, which we show you how to do in the noise-free DIY soundproofing course, or creating new stairs stringers so it doesn't look like you've had any in soundproofing installed to that stairwell wall, again, which we show you how to install on the noise-free DIY soundproofing course, nice little plug there, then lost my trail of thought. Only use these panels when you really cannot afford any more space loss, or you just cannot put anything more thicker on the wall because there is something preventing you from doing that. But my recommendation is don't use the mass loaded vinyl ones. Number 2, we're getting slightly thicker here. We're using a 20mm rubber and 1 or 2 layers of acoustic grade plasterboard. The 20mm rubber is the same product you get on gym floors, is that anti-vibrational matting, and you glue it to the wall using contact adhesive. Now, I'm not a material supplier, but if you're looking for a contact adhesive, something that you can apply these panels directly to the wall, then there is a link to a heavy duty contact adhesive in the description down below. As installers, when we install this system, we install it using two different types of adhesive, one to create a resilient layer and one to bond it to the wall. It'd be a very boring video if I go into detail of how exactly you install that with the two different types of adhesive. Let us know in the comments if you really want to know, but we show you how to do that in the online courses. The 20mm rubber is glued to the wall, and then the two layers of acoustic grade plasterboard is then glued to that. So there is no mechanical fixings. The system total thickness is about 50mm, 2 inches in space loss. It will offer 40 to 50% human perceived reduction in noise, again at those higher frequencies. So when you install it to the direct noise path of the separating party wall, that's the sort of level of reduction in your noise you can achieve directly through that separating party wall. Installing this system directly to the separating party wall, because you're using that anti-vibrational rubber and you're gluing it to the wall airtight, you're not going to be channeling the noise into those other areas. You can rest assured you're not going to channel noise into that hollow chimney stack void or into that hollow floor void or that hollow ceiling void above. How will it perform? It will certainly take the edge off of that TV noise, that conversation, or any noise you're hearing from the neighbours, but don't expect to not ever hear a particular neighbour noise again. It will take the edge off, it will deal with those higher frequencies, but that's all you can expect from this system. It's a great system to be installed to stairwell walls and flanking walls. When I say flanking walls, I mean those walls perpendicular to that separating party wall, such as a window wall, or maybe a wall separating a front and back bedroom, or you might have an archway wall which creates your lounge and dining room. If you're not sure what I mean here, next time your neighbours are making noise, next time your neighbours are playing music, or they've got a gathering of people next door, simply put your finger in one ear and put your ear on that window wall, both sides of the window wall, area closest to the separating party wall and the area the other side of the window wall, and do the same on that separating wall between the front and back bedroom, or any wall that you have perpendicular to the separating party wall, and you'll see what I mean. A lot of people have noise transfer up those flanking areas, those flanking walls, and if you want to get a really good reduction in noise, a significant reduction in noise, maybe to not ever hearing your neighbours anymore, not only will you require a system to the direct noise path of the party wall, but you will need to do those flanking walls as well, those walls perpendicular. And this system is a fantastic system for treating the flanking areas. Number 3 is the clip and channel system installed directly to that separating party wall. Now, this is a system that I have not used for a very long time, and I'll tell you why in a minute. However, this concept of installing a clip and channel system directly to the direct noise path, it is something that we use regularly for ceilings or flats and apartment where they have noise from above that they want to bury, or they're making noise and they don't want that noise to go above. So we would install a clip and channel system directly to a concrete ceiling, or we would install it directly to a lava and plaster ceiling where the flat or apartment owner doesn't own that area between the joists. If we are installing this clip system to a concrete ceiling, we'd make sure it is on battens, ensuring that we can get at least 25mm rock wool behind the clip and channel system, and making sure we can get a 50mm rock wool between the channels. However, the clip and channel system installed directly to the party wall on a plastered wall, for example, is not something I have used and not something I would promote. And the main and only reason for that is because the amount of emails we receive for people that have tried this system. The amount of people that have tried this system and they say it's not done anything or even made the noise worse. The reason those people may not have got a good reduction in noise could be for a variety of different reasons. They may not have tucked the wall system up, they may not have tucked the wall system down, the noise could be coming from other flanking areas. It could be coming from other main causes of the noise, such as a stud wall perpendicular in the room above that they've not spotted. Or it could be that this system does actually channel the noise. When you've got a highly reflective sound block board and a plastered wall with a little bit of rock wall between, there is space for that sound to resonate between the plastered wall and the heavy duty sound block board, or maybe between the plastered wall and the actual channels when you haven't got a rock wall behind. So it could be the case that these channels do channel the noise into other areas. Now don't get me wrong, these clip and channel systems do outperform any resilient bar, and sometimes you can get a clip and channel system which can be installed to a ceiling which will only take up 48 millimeters in space when used with a wooden joist construction. And what you have is you have a unique clip system which goes between the joists, so that will go actually between the ceiling joist, and then you have a channel which will clip in place. That will be positioned so the actual channel just sits probably about 5 mil below the joist. When you fit your board, it'll go past the joist, and this will give you a resilient bar, but the resilient bar is sat between the joists. Now what I like about the acoustic version is I think they really have concentrated on getting that rubber pad, that anti-vibrational pad, which is between the actual bracket and the clip, and they have absolutely nailed it on the resilience of that rubber, and that's why you're able to get such a good result with this particular product. Yeah, do your research on which clip and channel system to use. If you're a capable DIYer and you've installed a clip and channel system to the direct noise path of the party wall on a plastered wall, then let us know how you get on in the comments down below. It'd be really interesting to see what sort of reduction in noise that you've got from installing that directly to a plastered wall, what sort of rock wall you use, what sort of board you use to the clip and channel system, and again, what sort of clip and channel system did you use, and the space loss. I wanted to mention this clip and channel system installed directly to a plastered wall because of the amount of space that it takes up, the ease of installation, and how good the clip and channel systems are. However, like a lot of these systems I'm going to mention on this video, they've got to be used in the right way. And I'm just giving you my honest opinion of what we've found from doing thousands of installations. And if you're a DIYer and you've used this system, let us know how you got on in the comments down below. Wall system number 4 is another 50mm 2-inch system. We're going to use the 20mm rubber again, but this time we're going to use the Phonestar insulation board. For those of you who've not seen this product yet, it's a German product which is available throughout Europe, and it comprises of a cardboard honeycomb structure, and it's full of sand. I'm not sure you guys in the US have this product available yet, but let me talk you through the concept of this system, because maybe you can find a similar product in the US. And if you are in the US and you know that this product or a similar product is available, then please drop it in the comments down below. This is how we would use this system. We apply the 20mm rubber to the wall. This time we're going to use the 2 different types of adhesive, but we're going to use a few mechanical fixings as well, especially on those older properties. And this is to do with the load bearing, because the 15mm honeycomb sandboard structure, the Phonestar insulation board, that is a bit weighty and that's full of sand, but we're going to glue that to the wall, and we don't require any mechanical fixings at this stage. After that, you're then going to glue a 15mm or acoustic grade plasterboard to that honeycomb sandboard product. So you've got those 3 products. You've got the 20mm rubber, you've got the Phonestar insulation board at 15mm, and then you've got a 15mm acoustic grade plasterboard, and then you've got the glue between each one of those layers. Now it's how you install this system which makes it so effective. By using the 2 different types of adhesive between each of the layers means you get the maximum integrity out of each one of these products. So the sales spiel behind this particular system goes like this. Imagine your wall being a ringing drum cymbal. When the neighbours are making noise, your wall is resonating, and the 20mm rubber that you apply to that wall, you're sound dampening that wall, you're sound deadening that wall with that 20mm rubber. You then apply the 15mm honeycomb soundboard structure, the Phonestar insulation board, which you're going to glue to the wall, and no mechanical fixings for the Phonestar insulation board. Now, when your neighbours make noise, the sound comes through and it hits those sand particles. Those sand particles in the Phonestar insulation board, they vibrate. They struggle to transmit their sound energy to the next layer. The next layer is the 15mm heavy-duty sound block board, which reflects that sound back into the system, which makes this unique combination of materials one of the most effective systems only 2 inches thick. You can probably tell I'm quite passionate about this system because it's a system that me and my installation teams install week in, week out. We install it to flanking window walls, to walls separating lounge and diners, but we also install it to direct noise paths of the chimney stack, the fire back and alcoves as well, especially where space is at a premium. We install it to stairwell walls and upstairs bedroom walls. We install it to anywhere where people can only afford a 50mm space loss. They know by installing this system to their wall, they're installing 4 of the most advanced products on the market compacted into 2 inches. We've installed this system to residential homes now in England for over a decade now. Now, this system installed to the separating party wall, when you tuck it up and you tuck it down and you treat those other flanking areas, can achieve at least a 65% human perceived reduction in noise from those neighbour noises next door. And you might be thinking, hold on a minute, Jim, that's not much difference to the other systems you've just mentioned. Well, it actually covers a wider range of frequencies now. So although it's a 65% human perceived reduction in noise, you are covering some of those clonks and clangs. You're covering a lot more of that TV noise, that music. You are doing a lot more than just taking the edge off when you install this system to the separating party wall. In fact, when you install this system to somewhere like a stairwell wall where space is at a bit of a premium there, you install it to such a large area that you can actually reduce structural borne noises. When I start going over some of the thicker systems that I mentioned in a bit for those people that want to achieve the soundproofing of a detached house, we actually use this system for this 20mm rubber Phonestar insulation board, that 15mm sound block board. We use that on the flanking window walls, the wall separating the lounge diner, the wall separating the front and back bedroom. We use this system on the flanking areas to achieve that significant reduction in noise. So if you don't want to hear your neighbours anymore, using one of the larger systems that we'll get to in a minute, together with this system on the flanking areas, can offer you a significant reduction in noise. This system installed to the flanking areas can actually achieve a 80% human perceived reduction in flanking noise transmission. And that's because the wall has been sound dampened. We're reducing the noise transmitting down those flanking walls. If you're a good DIYer, you own a Stanley knife, a screw gun, and maybe a multi-tool, this is a system that you can install yourself and benefit from noise reduction straight away from installing this system. If you're interested in learning exactly how to install this system, then the link is in the description down below, and there's a fantastic offer on this at the moment. And you just have to look at the reviews for all the people benefiting from installing this system already. Wall system number 5, we're going to step it up a gear now, and then we're going to look at number 6, the floating frame, and number 7, you're going to have to stay tuned for, because I'm going to share with you how to achieve a significant reduction in noise, how we do it. But first of all, let's go through number 5 and number 6 first. Number 5. First of all, you're going to sound dampen the wall with a 10 kg per meter squared self-adhesive Texsound. Now, this is a viscoelastic membrane which basically sound dampens the wall, just like we do with the 20mm rubber, but a thinner version of it. Next, we're going to install battens, and here we're going to use a 2x2 batten on anti-vibrational pads. Not a foam tape, it's an anti-vibrational pad which separates the batten from the wall, but you're still going to mechanically fix those battens to the wall. Next, we're going to insulate the battens with a 50mm rock wool like this, and then we're going to install resilient channels to those battens. But before we do that, we're going to coat the battens with a mass loaded vinyl. The mass loaded vinyl has got to be a 5 kg per meter squared mass loaded vinyl. The resilient bars then go over the top of that. You can staple the barrier mat to the battens and that'll be fine, and then put the resilient bars over the top of that. Next, install 2 layers of 15mm acoustic grade plasterboard. And always install two layers of something when you install a resilient bar or a resilient clip or channel system. When I say two layers of something, I mean either two layers of sound block board, or maybe consider putting a fiber board and then a layer of 15mm sound block board, or maybe even consider three layers. You use a cement board, then a fiber board, and then a 15mm sound block board. And you can always upgrade the layers by sandwiching I can't even say sandwich. And you can always upgrade the layers by installing a mass-loaded vinyl between the two layers of 15mm sound block board, for example, or installing a tech sound between the two layers of board which you choose. But never install one layer, because if you install one layer to a resilient bar or resilient channel system, what you'll find when you plaster the wall, it will just really crack. You'll have cracks all down the board joins and all around the edges because there's just too much movement. If you're finding this content useful, please consider clicking the subscribe button. All that happens when you click the subscribe button is it tells YouTube that you like this type of content, and also if I publish a video tomorrow, it will pop up in your feed. By clicking subscribe, I'm not going to get any of your data and bombard you with emails or anything like that. I'm only going to do that if you decide to download a free copy of my book, which is in the description down below. I'm just kidding. Right, but this particular system, system number 5, this system is 100mm thick, and of course it depends. If you use a clip and channel system, it's going to be a lot thicker. So 100mm thick is based on using resilient bars. And this system will offer, if you install it to the direct noise path of the separating party wall alone, tucking it up, tucking it down, it will offer you a 70% human perceived reduction in noise. That's airborne noise coming through. For that impact noise, you're looking more like 50% reduction in noise. We're now talking more about the impact noise and those structural borne noises because we've used a resilient bar. And that's what the resilient bars and resilient channels do, is they deal with the lower frequencies of noise, those clonks and clangs and that bass noise coming through. If you want to stand a chance at reducing that type of neighbor noise coming through, then you really need to consider using resilient bars or resilient channel system. This is a really good system if you have that 4 inches of space available, and it's a popular system that we install to bedrooms to reducing that room-to-room transfer of noise. For example, you've got someone gaming the other side of that bedroom wall and you're trying to sleep and you don't have that much space available, then this is a great system to install maybe to the alcoves either side of a chimney stack, and then maybe install one of the 50mm 2-inch systems around the chimney stack. Because the battens are still mechanically fixed to the wall, you're not going to get much more than a 50% reduction in those impact noises. So if you're hearing doors banging, furniture moving, that sort of noise, then you are still going to hear that noise come through this system, but it will start taking the edge off of those impact noises, whereas all the other systems before, you're still going to hear those impact noises come through. Make sense? Cool. Okay, so let's look at wall system number 6, the floating frame. System number 6 is the floating frame. The floating frame is 175mm thick. Yep, that's a thick system. It's not for everybody, but if you want to stand a chance at not hearing your neighbor noise anymore, to being able to have that soundproofing of a detached house, to stop all those clonks and clangs, that heavy bass noise, dog barking, furniture moving, all those lower frequency noises coming through, then this is the sort of system that you need to be able to install to your separating party wall. This system is most commonly installed to alcoves and the fire back, tucking the system up, tucking the system down. We install a 50mm system around the chimney stack, so don't go thinking that this system goes installed around chimney stack. If you have a nice flat clear wall with this amount of space available, why have you not had soundproofing done? Get this system installed, or try and install this system to your separating party wall. So how do you install this system? Install the 20mm rubber to that wall, sound dampen the entire wall. So if you have a chimney stack and fire back, then completely coat the wall in that 20mm rubber. Next, install the floating frame. Install a 25mm air gap from the rubber to the floating frame. So your new floating frame is isolated from the wall that you've just sound dampened. That floating frame, I'm not going to go into too much detail on the floating frame. If you've subscribed to my channel, then you will see other videos on the floating frame. But basically, the floating frame is isolated from the two flanking walls. It's isolated from the ceiling, from the floor. It means noise will find it very difficult to get into that frame. So it's not like a traditional stud frame. Next, insulate that frame with a rock wool. We like to use a 100mm rock wool. Then coat the frame in that mass loaded vinyl, again a 5 kg mass loaded vinyl. Then use resilient bars, 2 layers of 15mm sound block board board installed to those resilient bars. You can always upgrade that by installing tech sound between the two layers of sound block board, or you can use cement board, fibre board, different types of mass installed to those resilient bars. I'm not sure why people don't like using resilient bars. Whenever I help out a builder or architect or developer, whether they're doing a HMO or something like that, then they're just unsure about using resilient bars. Resilient bars are actually very easy to use once you've used them before, and they are very cheap for the amount of reduction in noise you can get from using resilient bars. Resilient bars are readily available from most builders merchants. They cost about £3 each for a 3-metre length. From my experience, I find that using a floating frame with a resilient bar will beat a clip and channel system on a traditional stud frame every day of the week. Again, it's just my opinion, just something that I've found. Hopefully you can take some of the concepts I've outlined in this video away with you and apply that to your own soundproofing installation. And number 7 is the thickest wall system that we install. It comprises of the 20mm rubber, the Phonestar insulation board, and then we build a floating frame in front of that. So the 20mm rubber, the Phonestar insulation board, a 25mm air gap, then the floating frame, which is isolated from the structure, then a 100mm rock wall installed to the frame, a mass loaded vinyl, resilient bars installed to that mass loaded vinyl, then install a cement board, fibre board and a 15mm soundblock board, and you can upgrade it using a mass loaded vinyl in between the 15mm soundblock board and the fibre board if you choose. This system is 185mm thick and it offers 90% reduction in those airborne noises. You pretty much won't hear your neighbours through this wall, but it also massively reduces that impact noise. If you want to stand a chance of not hearing your neighbours anymore, then this is a great system for your wall, especially if you're suffering from impact noise. Again, it's not for everybody because it takes up so much space, but this is the sort of system that can give you that soundproofing of a detached house if you treat the flanking areas as well. If you install this system to the party wall alone, that would be a waste of space really. You wouldn't get your money's worth out of that system that you install unless you address those flanking areas as well, unless you treat those window walls and those other walls perpendicular. And that's because when noise reaches a certain volume, a certain decibel we should say, it enters the structure of the building. So we need to reduce the noise resonating down those flanking walls as well. So how we get a significant reduction in noise is we would apply that system 4 with the 20mm rubber, the Phonestar insulation board and the 15mm soundblock board, that 50mm system. We install that to that window wall and the other window wall and any wall perpendicular. We also install sound insulation to the ceiling, insulating between the ceiling joists if it's a wooden joist construction and board in the ceiling, and we also treat the floor too. So we've addressed all of those different noise paths. If you can do that, follow the 4-step soundproofing method, then you can get a significant reduction in noise to not even hearing your neighbours anymore. Remember to check the links in the description down below. Get yourself a free copy of the book, The Noise-Free Home. If you're a DIYer, builder or homeowner and you want to learn how to install these systems yourself, then why not consider the Soundproofing Secrets course, or even the bigger course, the Noise-Free DIY Soundproofing course. The Soundproofing Secrets course is on offer at the moment and it shows you how to install some of those earlier systems at the beginning of the video, and the Noise-Free DIY Soundproofing course shows you all of the systems that we've outline, including how to build the floating frame exactly. Let us know how you get on in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video.